Les Miserables, Chapter 7. Cosette and I moved into an apartment in the poorest part of Paris. Few people lived in our run-down building. It was perfect for us. No one would ever find us here. We lived a quiet life. For the first time in her young life, Cosette could play and forget about work. How I came to love my Cosette. I had never loved anything or anyone before. I had never been a father, a lover, a husband, or even a friend. Cosette's love gave me hope. She became my daughter, and I became her father. Sometimes I thought my heart would burst with tenderness. Weeks passed. I was content. In the mornings, I taught Cosette how to read. In the afternoons, she played with her doll. I loved to watch her. We couldn't risk going out during the day, so we took our walks in the evenings. I dressed like a poor man, and that's what people thought I was. They didn't know I had my money sewn into the lining of my coat. I could get to it whenever I needed it. Each evening I gave a coin to a beggar sitting by a church. One evening something happened that changed our lives. The beggar sat on the sidewalk as usual. I dropped a coin into his open palm. He looked up for a moment, then quickly bowed his head. In that moment I thought I saw the face of a man I never wanted to see again. Javert. But surely the street lamp was playing tricks with my eyes. At home, I couldn't get the beggar out of my mind. I needed to speak to him. That way, I would know for sure if it was Javert. The next evening, when I gave my coin, I spoke. "Good evening, old man," I said, dropping a coin into his palm. Thank you, kind sir," he replied. The old beggar's face stared up at me. It wasn't Javert after all. My eyes had been playing tricks on me. A few nights later I heard the front door open. It was usually locked at that time. I sent Cosette to her room and told her to be quiet. A man was climbing the stairs. I blew out my candle and sat on a chair, silent. The man stopped outside my door. I held my breath. He had a candle. A gleam of light shone under my door. The man walked down the hall and closed a door. I threw myself on my bed and didn't shut my eyes all night. At daybreak, the same door opened. I kneeled to peer through the keyhole. I couldn't see the man's face. His outline told me all I needed to know. It was Javert. At dusk that same day, Cosette and I left our apartment. The moon was full. We ran down a street, then turned to ran back up it. In this way, I hoped Javert would lose our trail. Cosette stayed close. She didn't ask questions. I didn't know where I was going. I was trusting God as Cosette was trusting me. Were we being followed? I didn't know. Did Javert know that I was Jean Valjean? I didn't know that either. I only knew I didn't want to stay around to find out. We passed a church. Its bell chimed 11 o'clock. We passed a police station. 3 men stood outside. As we passed, one went inside. We ducked down a side street and hid in a doorway. The man who had gone inside came out with a 4th man. The moon lit their faces. The new man was Javert. We left the doorway and ran to a small bridge. By now, Cosette was tired. I carried her across and then looked back. The 4 men were hurrying across the bridge. We ran down a lane between stone walls. After only a few yards, the lane forked. I chose the right fork because it led away from the city. I could hear Javert and his men running behind us. Suddenly the lane ended with a stone wall. We couldn't go forward and we couldn't go back, and Javert's men were closing in on us. There was only one way to go: up. I had been a strong climber in prison. I escaped 3 times by climbing stone walls with only my bare hands and feet. But Cosette couldn't climb the wall by herself, and I wouldn't make it up the wall with her on my back. "I'm frightened, father," she said. "Who's that coming?" "It's Madame Thénardier," I lied. I wanted Cosette to do as I told her. "Don't talk," I said. "Leave everything to me. If you make a sound, she'll hear you. She wants you back." To climb the wall with Cosette, I needed a rope, but where could I get one quickly? Then I remembered. The street lamp. Each street lamp in Paris was raised and lowered by a rope. Without another word, I raced to the street lamp at the end of the alley, took the coil of rope, and hurried back to Cosette. There was no time to lose. I took off my scarf and looped one end under Cosette's arms. I tied the other end to my rope. Then I took off my shoes and socks and threw them over the wall. I was on top of the wall in half a minute. Cosette stared up at me, amazed. She was frozen into silence by the thought of Madame Thénardier. I pulled Cosette to the top and put her on my back. I held both her hands in one of mine. Then I crawled on my stomach along the top of the wall. We came to the roof of a small building. I slid onto the roof without letting go of the wall. Javert was running down the lane shouting, "Search the dead end! He won't escape me this time!" The police raced to the end of the lane. I let go and coasted down the roof with Cosette still on my back. A tree stopped us from dropping to the ground. We climbed down. We were in the garden of a convent. An old gardener was bent over his roses. "Here's 100 francs, I said. "Please let us stay the night." The moonlight shone on my face. "Why, it's you, Monsieur Madeleine," exclaimed the gardener. "Don't you remember me?" It was Fauchelevent, the man I had rescued from under the horse cart years before.